Let's start with, we've tried to start the last couple of weeks with giving each member of the panel a couple of minutes to tell us what you think maybe are the big issues. We're going to talk about bonding, I think, so we'll leave that alone, come back to that, because that, of course, is one of the major focuses of this session. But there's some other things going on. Senator Hand, let's start with you. What do you see for the next 10 weeks?
Well, I think a couple of things that we didn't get done last year. We did not get a tax bill completed, and I think there's a lot of interest in doing something in taxes, and the transportation bill is the other thing that we didn't get done as part of the budget. So I think there's a lot of interest in those two areas, some controversy, I guess, on how we're going to do those things, but I think that is going to take up the bulk of the legislature's time, in my opinion. You did mention the bonding bill. Of course, that's going to be a part of this, too. But I think in the transportation bill, it's going to be a debate about whether we do a gas tax or not, or if we can find another way to fund it. And I think on taxes, it's really going to come down to what money is available after we deal with the surplus. And, of course, that surplus got modified a little bit down in the February forecast. So it's a short session, but I think it'll be a real challenge for the legislature to come to some agreement. The governor has made some statements about what he really thinks he needs to have, and what I'm really looking for right now is what is the pathway to get to a compromise. And I'll be honest with you, right now it's not clear on how we get there, but I'm very hopeful that we can get some good things done.
Representative Marquardt, what do you think?
Well, it is a short session and it's going to move very quickly, but I think what's really important is that we do have compromise and work together. I mean, that was the problem last time, is we couldn't get to a compromise. We didn't get a tax bill and we didn't get a transportation bill. And I think that's really important. And as Senator Hand just said, I do think it's going to come down to kind of the tax bill and the transportation bill if we can get some agreement there. And the fact of the matter is, when you don't get an agreement on a tax bill, property taxes go up. When you don't get agreement on a transportation bill, your roads get poorer and counties and cities pay more in property taxes to fund highways. So that's really, really going to be important. And, you know, the bonding bill, which we're going to talk about later, but something else is a lot of people think, you know, you talk about $900 million and they think, oh boy, this is a lot of money. But when you look into the next biennium, it's about $1.2 billion. Which means anything we do this year, you have to count twice. So there really isn't $900 million on the table. So one of the major goals, I think, is to make sure that we've created a stable budget, not only now, but into the future. We're putting dollars into the reserve, the most we've ever had. So I think number one is to make sure we don't overcommit, make sure we stay within our means when we're talking about the budget this year.
And I agree, Representative Marquardt, that the budget, we have to watch that into the future. We don't want to build in a future deficit, and so that's something I think most everybody can agree on, that we have to be careful about that. But to get to the end there, the transportation bill, the tax bill, and I think bonding will be included in that. It'll all kind of be negotiated as we get towards the end of the session. And I agree with Senator Hand that it's going to take compromise to get there. And again, I don't know the path either, but I'm really hope we can achieve that and get there and find the compromise that gets us to a successful end here.
Representative Christensen?
You know, I think echoing what some other people have said, what I hear from most from my constituents is transportation, funding for roads and bridges, and finding a good solution for that, as well as tax relief for middle-class families. And I think those are my two priorities, and I think that there's some bipartisan agreements and some areas of disagreement on those things, but I think we need to focus on where we can come together, where we can work together. And I think, frankly, roads and bridges, funding for roads and bridges is one of those areas where there is bipartisan agreement, and I think we should be able to get something done on that.